was a shadow in the government's game. Pawn as a child with no face and no name. They stole my past to leave me cold and alone. Always searching for a place that could call home. I was lost in the dark, just a tool in the hand, till she pulled me close and helped me understand. Now the fire inside is starting to rise. I can see the truth through 1,000 lies. Now I tear through the veil, leave holes in the sky. I can read every thought in the blink of an eye. Danica, my witch, she's the magic in me. Yeah, I finally found what they took from me. With a hellhound beside me, I'm standing my ground. No longer a ghost that's never been found. In the dead of the night, I can hear the call. All the ghosts of my past scratching through the wall. My eyes change colors, the power has grown. With Crowley the hound, I am never alone. I used to be hollow, a man made of glass, but now I am reclaiming every year that has passed. Every memory is falling right back into place. I know every name and I remember every face. Now I tear through the veil, leave holes in the sky. I can read every thought in the blink of an eye. Danica, my witch, she's a magic in me. Yeah, I finally found what they took from me. With a hellhound beside me, I'm standing my ground. No longer a ghost that's never been found. I ain't running no more, yeah, I'm ready to fight. Gonna settle that debt in the depth of the night. They tried to break me, they tried to erase, but they can't hide the blood from the scars on my face. The veil is thin and the engine is hot. I'm taking back everything that they thought I forgot. Now I tear through the veil, leave holes in the sky. I can read every thought in the blink of an eye. Danica, my witch, she's the magic in me. Yeah, I finally found what they took from me. With a hellhound beside me, I'm standing my ground. No longer a ghost that's never been found. I remember it all now. Every single face, I'm calling for you in the dead of the night.
Good evening. My name's Henry, as you may know. Tonight we're starting on 8. So, kind of give you a rundown from 7. Things that started happening, and they sent me up to Virginia to get tested. Of course, it went fairly decent. Not the way they planned, but fair enough. I'm assuming my mom probably put in a phone call, and between my mom and the place where they took me, the Casey Foundation, between the two of them, they put a bug up somebody's ass. So they started inquiring more about what I was doing, what was going on around me. They was told to kind of keep me isolated, keep me away from a lot of people other than family. That was easier said than done. Not because I wanted to go meet people, but word got around in the neighborhood, and neighbor kids all started thinking I was some kind of a freak of nature or something. They all wanted to come and have a look. Well, one day my mom was at work. My dad hadn't got home yet. I had probably about 2.5 hours before one one or the other got home, I was sitting in the house, kind of watching TV. Can't remember what it was I was watching, but whatever it was must have been entertaining because I was sitting there watching TV. Heard somebody come up on the porch, so I turned the volume down on the TV. Of course, things like nowadays, back then, there wasn't no clicker to do all that. You had to get up off the couch or the chair and walk over to the TV and turn it down. So I listened, and I could hear shuffling. We had a little boxed-in porch added onto the trailer, and I could hear a couple of feet shuffling. So I turned the TV completely off and walked to the door and moved the curtain aside to take a peek. And about the time I got to the door, because I didn't have it locked, wasn't no reason to, it was daytime. By the time I took a peek, put my hand on the door handle, the handle turned, and here come all the neighbor kids. Being young and naive, I didn't know any better. I'd seen some of them around, but didn't really know them that well. Didn't even know their names, most of them. But they proceeded to come in one by one, and there was two older kids. Looked like they was probably in middle school, late middle school. And I told them my name. They said, "We ain't here to be friends." What are you, some kind of fucking freak or what? I don't know what you mean. Well, you never come outside and come to any of our houses or come out when we're all outside walking around. My parents don't want me to. Got a problem with that, you need to take it up with them, not me. I'm sitting here in my own house, not bothering a soul. I think y'all need to leave. But they decided to play push-about. One pushed me into another, and another one pushed me into another one, and it just kept going. Then it started getting a little rougher. They pushed me against the wall. First few times, I bounced off the wall like a rubber ball. Next push, I ended up on the floor. Hurt. Well, that was all it took. Shit started happening in the house. Shit flying around. People getting hit with shit. Because I was angry and a little upset. I wasn't bothering nobody. Staying to myself. But they all run out of the house. Scared to death. I got up and shut the door and locked it. And I waited probably about 15-20 minutes and looked out the window and didn't see nobody out messing around, so happened to look across the easement, the driveway there. Seen one of the neighbors, and I'd seen Dad talk to him before, but I didn't know him. So I thought, well, I'd at least go and tell him what happened, because two of the kids was his. So I walked across there, and he was sitting in this big old car, talking on the CB. So I tapped him on the elbow. He put the mic down, and, "Can I help you?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "All the neighbor kids," I said, "come over and just come in my house over there, pushing me around. Two of the kids was yours. You need to shut up and go home." Okay. So I turned around and walked off. I heard him holler, so I turned around to see what he wanted, and he goes, "You need to mind your own fucking business, you freak." Well, that didn't settle too good, but he was a grown-up. So I went back home, Went inside and locked the porch door and locked the house door. Went to the back and locked the back door. Sat there and waited for Dad to come home. Sure enough, he pulled in. Oh shit, I better go unlock them doors. He'll rip it off the hinges. So I unlocked the door and he come up on the porch. He goes, "You look like you're a little upset. Your face is red and your ears are red." Yeah, the neighbor kids decided to come over here and pay me a little visit. They started getting kind of rough, calling me a freak. I said, "You know that fat son of a bitch that lives across the road there? Sitting over there?" I said, "Did you see him walk when you pulled in, talking on your CB in that big car?" "Yeah." I said, "I wanted to talk to him, tell him about it." He told me I need to mind my own fucking business. Started to walk off, because you always told me not to start trouble. Started to walk off, and he goes, "Hey." I turned around and he goes, "You fucking freak. Go home." He goes, "Get your shoes on." So I went in and found my boots, slid them on, grabbed my ball cap, started to walk across there, and the guy was still sitting there talking on his CB in the car. We walked around behind the trunk of the car, up to the front on his driver's side, and Dad goes, "Hey, put the mic down." I go, "Well, what's the problem?" My dad said, "My son comes over and tells me that two of your kids that were at the house roughing him up come into the house. Just pushed their way in, along with some of the other neighbor kids. When he come over to tell you about it, you tell him he need to mind his own fucking business. Then you let him start to walk off. Then you holler at him again and you call him a fucking freak and tell him to go home. Let me tell you something. You don't talk to no kid of mine like that. Lord ass, if you don't want me to yank you out of that car, you better think of something quick to say. Otherwise, I'm going to take offense to it." Guy looked at Dad and looked at me. He apologized to me. It was worthless to me, because he didn't mean it. He just apologized because he didn't want his fat ass whipped. Dad goes, "That good enough?" "Yeah." And he goes, "Now, get your ass out of the car. Bring your two kids out here." The guy get out of the car and he walked toward his house. Brought his two boy and a girl out there. My dad looked at him and he goes, "You think that's funny to pick on somebody little? Maybe you'd like to try to pick on me." Well, they didn't know what to say. First they started in, "There's something wrong with that boy." Dad goes, "What the hell do you mean there's something wrong with him? How do you figure something's wrong with him? He was in his own damn house, not bothering a soul, and you guys pushed the door in and come in. Proceeded to start roughing him up." Well, that ain't what we're talking about. Dad goes, "Then what the hell are you talking about?" "Well, he started hitting us with stuff." Dad goes, "Well, you fucking try to push me, I'll probably hit you with something too." "No, you don't get it. There was stuff moving around in the house that was hitting us, and he wasn't doing it. But he was the only one that wasn't getting hit." My dad looked at him and started laughing. He goes, "I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You must be crazy. But you come into my house one more time uninvited, there will be trouble. And you will probably get a little bit of trouble with the cops after I beat your ass." Do you understand that? Yes, sir. Don't let it happen again. Don't even look at him. He don't go out there fucking with you guys. Leave him alone or I'm going to come back. It ain't going to be pretty. He looks at me and goes, Henry, is that okay? Fine by me. They stuck their hand out and wanted to shake hands, and I just looked at their hand and looked back at them. Don't shake your goddamn hand. Stay the fuck away from me. So I went home, me and Dad, and he goes, who was the others? That's the ones next door to us, the ones just down the alley, and the one when you make the corner lives in the second house. Dad goes, good, you stay here and I'll be back. He learned how to talk with all of them and their parents, and he come back and he goes, trust me, you won't have no more problems. Hope not. He goes, but did you really do that? I was like, it was out of anger and being scared. He goes, well, you just got to be careful doing stuff like that because they already think something's up. He said, now on, if you're home by yourself, make sure the doors are locked. And he said, come with me. He goes, I've been saving this for your birthday, but I'm going to give it to you early. I was like, uh-oh. He brought out this wooden Louisville Slugger. He goes, here. Anybody else comes in this house again, starts with you, or even you even think they're going to, you club them. I'll take the blame. Okay. Mom come home and she goes, I thought we was waiting to give it to him till later. That's one of the circumstances. I think he needs it early. Why, is he going to go play baseball with somebody? Dad goes, yeah, probably. Just not today. So anyway, people looked at me even stranger then, and I just kind of stayed in my own yard after that. Didn't want anything to do with any of the kids. I did talk to my neighbor across the yard, my other couple of neighbors, but I done it from my own yard. I didn't go out in the alley no more. Stayed in my own yard. Everywhere I went, I carried that Louisville Slugger. I plan on playing me some baseball. Somebody wants to screw around with me again. Ever since then, I ain't had no use for bullying or belittling. It ain't gonna work out good for anybody that tries that crap. Done been schooled in that. Don't like it. So anyway, I'd go see my aunts and uncles. I'd still have that bat with me. Nobody said nothing to me about carrying it either. They'd had to answer to my dad for that one. He didn't care, and I really didn't care either. So, school's going to be starting again, so come school time, and two kids I'd started setting with, got to know them pretty good. They were a brother and sister, and I sat in between them. They was real smart, too. When they come to books, they should have probably been in 5th or 6th grade. But as it was, they was in the same grade as me. So, got to know them pretty good. I got a note, come to the teacher, and the teacher called me to the front and gave me this pass to go to the library, or the office, that my mom was out in the front waiting, but I had to stop at the office and turn my pass in. I didn't know what the hell was going on, so I took the pass and headed outside and up the sidewalk to the main building and went inside and headed to the office. Give them my pass, and they said, yeah, your mom's parked right outside. I grabbed my stuff and went out to see what she wanted, and she goes, hey, come to get you early, get in the car. I run around the front of the car with my little book bag and opened the door and jumped in and put my books down in the floorboard of my book bag. And I said, where are we going? She goes, well, we're going to run. I got to go up to town, and then we're going to go to Dairy Queen, and afterwards we're going to see your aunts and uncles, which was her brother and sisters. Cool, I got out of school early. Well, part of it was right. We did go to the next town, and we did go to Dairy Queen. Then we headed toward her sister and brother's house, and got up there to that town, and way before the turnoff, she turned, pulled in at this little orangish-looking building. Orange and white-looking brick building, and it looked familiar, but I wasn't sure. Well, she said, you wait here for a minute. I thought, well, maybe it's for her then. So she goes in, and she's in there talking, and I'm watching from the car window. Ain't long, and I see her come out, and there was a nurse-looking lady come out with her. I knew something was up because the nurse lady started trying to be real nicey and butter up like a big old snake before it bites you. She asked me my name, and I told her. She goes, I got some candy inside. Why don't you come inside? I didn't want to go inside, but my mom told me to get out of the car. So I did. They walked me in and took me to this thing and checked my weight. They raised this thing up, folded it out, and put it on top of my head and measured me. What the hell is this all about? They told me to have a seat there for my mom, and they'd be right with us. I had no appointment. So I'm sitting there, looking at a book. Wasn't no good book there. So I was sitting there just trying to find something to look at to occupy my time. A few minutes later, that lady comes over. She goes, Henry, come with me. I look at my mom like, what you want with me? Oh, they just want to talk to you for a minute. I don't know about this. My mom said, come on, I'll follow. Take her hand and go with her and I'll follow. Okay, well, Mom's going and must be going to be okay. Maybe somebody want to talk to me. So, we going down this long hallway. On the left side, there's all these rooms with the doors open. It's all these old people. And room by room, as I passed by, they set up like, wow, there goes a piece of steak. Like, that's kind of weird. They all just, all of a sudden set up and perked up. Like somebody give them an electric shock or something. And we go all the way down the end of the hallway and come to that room. Lady taps on the door a couple times and they said, come on in. So she reaches down and turns the door handle, and by then my mom's right behind me. But she grabs me by both hands, this nurse does. And I look in there and that room's dark. Curtains are drawn and shades are pulled. But she grabbed me, she's dragging me into the room, and I'm fighting back. I don't go in there, it's dark. Yeah, my mom started pushing me. As soon as they got me past the door opening, my mom shut the door. She was on one side of the door, and I was on the other side of the door with all these people in there grabbing and pulling. And finally, they got me in a chair, and like a barber chair type thing, and set me in it, strapped my arms down, strapped my legs, strapped my waist, and then my head. Well, the arms had these long deals, and they had my arms stretched out. Well, what are they going to do? All of a sudden, they flipped a bright light on over top of my head, and I couldn't see because it was blinding me. But all these people could see me, and I mean, there was like a dozen or more in there, screaming and hollering and cussing at me. Of course, I'd cuss and try to fight back, but I'm strapped down, but I could still cuss. The one thing they didn't do is they didn't gag me. I guess I was lucky about that. I probably said some cuss words they didn't even know. Hanging around with my dad and my uncle. Well, they got this little swab-looking thing out. They pulled my shoes and socks off. Each one of my fingers, they daubed it real good. Real cold stuff. Found out later that was alcohol. Then they went to the next finger and they went around and all over from this first joint up. And they did the next one, the next one, and the next one, and they went to the other hand. I was like, uh-oh. What are they doing? I've never seen this before. Well, I seen this lady come with this tray. Had this little package about that long. She put her rubber gloves on, and I'm like, this can't be good. She reached in and grabbed that package, and top of it grabbed like this here, and she pulled, this little flat-made little blade thing come out and had a point on the end. It looked like one of them old double-sided razors, you know, that you used to have back in the old days. But it had a point on the end. Well, and I seen her grab this other tray and set it over there, and it had a handle, had a bunch of holes, and they had these glass-looking tubes in there. I'd seen those before. I just couldn't remember where, but I thought I'd seen them before. It must have been in the lab where I was born. So they proceeded to put my hand flat on that chair, like this, and my arm was still strapped down, and they put their hand on top of my hand, and they was doing this to spread my fingers. Like, what the hell are they doing? I was trying to make a fist, but their hands were a lot stronger than mine, and kept my fingers out. Now, the whole time, there's people standing all over around my head and around, all the way around me, poking and grabbing at me, hollering. I couldn't see them. All I could see was just their arms. Dude, I felt like I was being pulled apart. All of a sudden, they grabbed my thumb like this, and then they jabbed the end of it with that blade. They grabbed a tube and put it up here and pushed my thumb down. That blood was just a squirting inside that tube. That tube was probably about that long. They milked that thumb like a cow. Filled that tube almost all the way up, and they take this little rubber cap thing and poke on it. And they had a little pad thing, and they wrote on it, left thumb. They put it on the tube. And that hurt like hell. So then she grabbed a Band-Aid and put it across my thumb to cover up the puncture mark. She goes, now you know what to expect. The rest of your digits. Digits? What's that? That's your fingers and your toes. Oh, man. I'm screaming. It hurt. I'm scared. They got to the next finger. My hand was flat again. They still had their hands like this, some of them, and somebody had my fingers like this, squeezing until they got red, and they poked that finger. Put a tube up there and squeezing milk on my finger, squirting that blood. Then they marked on there, left hand, index finger. They put top on it, set it in the tray. Like, what the fuck are they doing this for? Well, eventually they done all my both hands. That was bad enough, because, I mean, they was throbbing. You know how it feels like when you get a splinter stuck real deep in your finger and you pull it out and it still hurts like hell? Yeah. Just imagine, though, them pumping your fingers like they're milking a damn cow. I'm starting to get, I guess because I was so excited maybe, I started getting really tired. I still had fight left in me. A few good cuss words left. So then they laid this chair back. And my feet now is higher than my head. They started in with my big toe. They wiped it, and then they wiped the next toe and the next toe until they got all 10 toes done. And that was cold. I don't like cold. I knew what was next. They grabbed another one of those packages and split it open, and that razor thing popped out. She grabbed that. She was, okay, I guess we're ready. Well, they pressed my feet down flat and took their hands and put it in between my toes like this to spread my toes. And then somebody would grab me by the toe and do the same thing they did on my hands to my toes. Each toe got a vial of blood taken out. That says about yay big, probably about 3-4 inches tall. And they capped each one and wrote which toe it was on which foot. God damn, that hurt. I was mad, but I fought so much and cussed so much. Tried to bite anything I could to hurt one of them. When they was done, they went to flip the light on. They done screwed up because now I was not only hurt, but I was pissed off. When they went to flip the light switch, that big light that was over top of my head, I mean, this light was huge. That son of a bitch exploded. It went everywhere except for on me. There was pieces of it in people's face. Like, hi, you son of a bitch. Serve you right. Try it again. See what happens. Come on. Come on. You got me strapped down here. Come on, let's see. I'll show you what I'm really going to do to you next. You have no clue what's coming. All of a sudden, this guy steps from behind the light. He flips the light on in the room. He goes, remember me? And I'm looking at him and I'm thinking, I know him. Another guy steps forward with a lab coat on. Remember me? Yeah, I remember you guys. Y'all the ones that used to stand outside that big old bottle thing I was in, that test tube. Aggravate the shit out of me. Trying to cause something to happen, wasn't you? So you're the guys that started this whole program. You have no clue. Yeah, I do. They said, well, you work for us. Yeah, just remember one thing. I've learned a lot since the last time I've seen you. We now take care of people like you. Well, I guess we'll see, won't we? Now unstrap me before somebody really gets hurt. I'm going home. I'm getting the fuck out of here. You can either undo the straps or y'all ain't leaving. They just laughed and they said, we ain't done with you by a long shot. You got a long ways to go. We own you. You're ours. You're our asset. We created you and we can take you out. I said, yeah, and you can kiss my ass too. I said, now, do you really want to see what I'm going to do next, or you want to turn me loose? Well, we'll turn you loose for now. But we'll see you again. Yeah, in your dreams. Because when I get home, I'm going to tell my dad about what my mom did. And it ain't going to be pretty for you two. And it ain't going to be pretty for her. Your dad ain't got no say-so. Yeah, it does. So they slowly undone my feet with some straps, undone my legs, undone my waist, chest, both arms, and my head. They said, are we good? For now. I don't want to see you guys again. I thought I recognized you guys. Now I know who you are. But they told me their names. Them names are still burned into my head. They passed away several years ago. So they say. But knowing how the people was in the projects, including them, they don't never ever just pass away. When their body gets wore out, they just take the spirit and put it in a new body like they did me. That way they keep on doing their same shit. The only problem with that is they're geniuses, so they claim. But when they take and go into a body, it takes them a few months to be able to function in conjunction with that body they're in. So basically what they do is they get them a new meat suit. Yeah, I know it sounds far-fetched, but Germans was doing that back in 1940, 1939. So, what the hell you think they done with those Germans? They come over here. And they worked with these idiots over here, and you combine two idiots, you get an imbecile. So, yes, it is possible. In the project, they was working with the dead. People have been dead for months. Put a spirit in them, sent them out to different locations so nobody knew them. They was doing that crap all the time. They was doing all kinds of stuff. Satan worshiping and trying to call demons. Opening portals for demons to come through. Asking for favors. Asking for knowledge. But it comes with a steep price. You know, each time you ask for something, it comes with a steeper price. First, it starts out, they were sacrificing animals to get a little bit of knowledge, and the next thing you know, they were sacrificing humans. Sometimes infants, sometimes grown-ups. Getting by with it, just like the same thing they're doing today, and you never get in trouble. Of course, when you got all these big wigs doing the same thing, there you go. Look at the Epstein thing. That's remnants of some of those projects just splintered off. So anyway, they take me out in the hallway and I'm taped all over the place and I ain't even got my socks and shoes on. I'm carrying them in my arm. And my feet hurt and my hands hurt. I get out there and I remember what my dad told me. I kept my cool until I got out in the car and I blew a gasket. And yes, back then, when I was a kid, I could cuss with the best of them. And there wasn't nobody going to whip me for it either. So when we got in the car, I said, "You dirty, no good son of a bitch. Don't you ever call me that." "Yeah, you are. You're a dirty, no good son of a bitch. You lured me in there. You lured me up here, then you lured me in there, and you left me there. And you let them hurt me. Oh, it's for the greater science. Science my ass. Ain't your fucking fingers and toes that's hurting. It ain't you to give all that friggin' blood, and also goddamn weak and tired right now, it ain't even funny. Well, we'll go to your cousin's and you can play." I said, "I don't even fucking feel like playing. I just want to sleep." "Well, we'll get you some orange juice at the IGA. Take your orange juice and cram it up your ass. I'm going to tell your dad when we get home." I said, "Go ahead, and he'll probably punch you in the friggin' mouth. Go ahead. I dare you. You ain't got a hair on your ass." So she went to the IGA and got some orange juice, and we went straight home. Got in the house, and I didn't even want to talk to her. I didn't want to see her. I went straight to my room because my dad wasn't there yet, but when he come home, I made a point to go out there and show him. He said, "From now on, you do what your mom tells you." I said, "She led me into a room to get my finger. Look at my fingers." He said, "I don't care." Right there, started telling me something. I couldn't quite figure it out, but I'm figuring he's in on it. This happened Monday through Friday, 7 days a week, every week, right up until I was in 6th grade. It got so bad I had to have people write for me because I couldn't write with my hands swelled up like that and hurting. And this is no joke. From 1st grade all the way up to 6th grade, I never cracked a book, never took a test. I'd go to school, set my books down, get up, we'd say the Pledge of Allegiance. I'd sit back down and crash. I'd go to sleep. I was so freaking anemic, I couldn't stay awake. Hell, I'd be on the way home, which wasn't maybe about 10, 15 blocks to the house. Before we'd get home, I'd be sound asleep. They'd have to wake me up to get me in the house. I'd go in, take my bath, go straight to bed. Found out later they was trying to keep me like that. It kept my abilities at bay, so to speak, they thought. Things started happening at nighttime while I was sleeping. So I really wasn't solving the problem, but I don't know what they were doing with that blood. They sure took enough of it. Who knows? Maybe they're making some more like me. Could be cloning. Hell, they could have been feeding my blood to something. Or testing my blood. I don't know. Never did find out. Years later, though, the one doctor died. I ran across the other one. He was older. I made a believer out of him. I got to give him back a little bit of what he gave to me. That was years later. We'll get into that eventually. So, one day in school, my mom brings cupcakes. All the other kids are outside at recess. Teacher's up there grading papers, and I'm sitting there with my hands folded, my head down, and I'm sawing logs. She knocks on the door, and teacher told her to come in. She set the cupcakes down. I heard her. She come back there and hit me. "Henry, wake up. You kiss my ass." You're the one that made me like this. Does he sleep like this all the time in here? Well, yeah, and we let him because look at his fingers. He ain't even got his shoes on. He's sitting there with his feet and the end of his socks cut out. We have to change the band-aids every so often because they bleed through. But you need to keep him awake, make him learn something. Teacher goes, I ain't got the heart to. Now, if you want to sit here all day long and keep him awake, you're the parent. But I ain't keeping him awake. Like to know what's really going on, though. Well, that's just none of your damn business. Trying to look at me and she said, you keep your ass awake. I said, you kiss my ass. You dropped off the cupcakes, now do yourself a favor. See yourself to the door, and I'll see you after school. You got a problem with that? Whip my ass, I don't care. I'm too tired to care. I probably wouldn't even feel it. Then she got mad and excused herself. Went home. I went back to sleep. It's like that always in 6th grade. I didn't care. I was too tired to care. It was their whole point of keeping me run down. Slow all the stuff down. Well, wasn't long, and my mom had to go back to some kind of nurse's training thing to get more schooling for a higher paying part in the hospital. So, had to go stay with my grandma and grandpa. That's where shit got a little squirrely. So I go up their house and, oh my God, they treat me like a little king. Just, I mean, it was all good. Until it wasn't. They had a spare bedroom made up for me, and they'd be taking me back and forth to school and up to the clinic. Well, one of those things you just have to do no matter how bad it hurts. You can't fight it. But what was strange was in my grandma and grandpa's room they fixed up for me there, a spare bedroom, and had a little twin bed in it. It's on the nightstand that was kind of recessed into the wall there beside the closet. This dresser was huge. Had like 8 drawers in it. They put all my clothes in there, my grandma did. But on the top of the dresser, there were 3 photos. 2 uncles and a cousin. Well, to give you a heads up about this here is, I had 2 uncles and a cousin, those ones that was in the pictures, and then another 3rd cousin. They was all in a bad accident, and every one of them got killed. I was told they got hit by a drunken driver. I don't know that for a fact. That's what I was told. She worshipped those pictures like they were the holy of the holies. Every time she'd pass by, she'd stop, kiss her fingers, and touch it to each picture. She was so infatuated that each one of these pictures had these little lights that went to make the picture look like it was glowing. It's kind of creepy to me, but okay. So, next morning I get up. She lays me some clothes out. Like, those ain't my clothes. This is what you're going to be wearing. They ain't my clothes. Well, you can keep your boots. Those ain't my clothes. They are now. I put them on and went to the kitchen, and Grandpa was in there, and Grandma was patting me on the back, and she goes, "Don't he look cute, Dad?" He goes, "Yeah, Mom, sure." So we ate, got done, and I went to use the bathroom. Come back, kind of weird. She called me a different name. I said, "You talking to me, or are you losing it? This is who you're going to be tonight. You're going to be your uncle." That woman's cheese done slipped off her cracker. I thought she done got Alzheimer's or something. Maybe went crazy as a shithouse rat. I don't know. Now this is how you walk. And she walked to the living room, walked back. And she goes, "This is how you'll talk. Repeat after me." She said a couple of phrases. And I'm kind of looking at her like, that old woman's lost it. She done went flipping nuts. I looked over at my grandpa, and he was just kind of like, well, I had a few choice words for her. She came after me like an old biting sow. I kicked a chair at her. She tripped and fell, but when she got up, she got a hold of me. Beat my ass. I learned then that maybe it might be better off if I just entertain her wishes. Obviously she's nuts. So, I did what she said. Eventually I got so good at it that I could sound just like either one of the two sons of hers that got killed. Well, a couple of days later, she had my clothes laid out for that morning. I got up, and I thought, man, I smell something burning. I look out the bedroom window, and she's out there at the burn barrel burning all my clothes. Burning them all. What the hell's wrong with her? She's done nuts. From now on, when you're here, on this day, you'll be one of your uncles. On this day, you'll be the other one. And we'll switch off and on. Every day you'll be a different one because I want my sons back. That woman done lost her fucking mind. But I had no choice about the matter. My dad and mom was... Dad went with Mom up for nurses training up near Chicago area. And I was stuck with this crazy-ass woman. She's crazy as a shithouse rat. And every day, when I walked past the pictures, I had to kiss my finger and touch that picture, kiss my finger and touch that picture, and do the same with the third picture. It was like a frickin' shrine. But I had to live there. And go to the doctor, so finally you just give in and whatever gets you through the night. So anyway, I go to school one day, and here's where you gotta really pay attention to this. And I'm sat between these two kids, my two friends. I had no clue. I didn't remember nothing. This guy comes in, and the teacher introduces him. And as soon as I see him, I was like, oh, I recognize that son of a bitch. This ain't gonna be good. These some bitches are watching me. They're infiltrating my life. It was a guy from the project later, but he was one of those doctor things that was in there, scientist, that was in there when they had me in that big tube. And I seen that son bitch go by with his little notepad. I was like, well, as long as he stays away from me, we'd be okay. Anyway, he's passing out these, a real thick thing of papers. This here's a state test. All the kids in the nation has to take this test. That's the one that had like 4 little round oval looking things that you shaded in for the answer. And they give you these goddamn pencils. That pencil wasn't over about that long. Cheap bastard. They bought one pencil and broke it in 3 halves and sharpened it. That's what they did. So he passed a box of pencils around and everybody got a pencil out of there. Cheap bastard. Now this test will last about 4 hours. Well, I think so. That thing was as thick as a Sears catalog. Hey, so I'm going to be starting this test. Don't nobody open up that folder until I tell you go. And he's sitting there looking at this stopwatch like we was going to go for a race. I'm like, I ain't even cracked a book. Better be something there that I learned in the test tube, because otherwise I'm screwed. But worst come to worst, I had 2 smart people on each side of me. I wouldn't ask and they wouldn't tell on me, so he looked up and he goes, on your mark, and he hit that clock. Now, open your test. Well, some of them kids are going through that thing like there's a speed demon. I'm sitting there looking at it like, what the hell? I just run down there and just coloring in boxes. Just piss on it. I'm too tired to care and worry about it. Well, a few of us got done early, so we pulled our papers over. And he goes, if you want to, you can bring it on up here in the front, put it in this basket. So these other kids walked up here and he took their paper and their pencil, put the pencil in the box, put the other in a tray looking deal. Me and the 2 kids I sat with walked up there and he just kind of stopped and didn't take our pencil and papers. He just looked at us and he goes, hey, step outside the room for a minute and wait for me. So as we started to walk out, we turned and look. He was wadding our stuff up, throwing it in the damn trash can. After everybody handed their papers in, he come out there and he goes, let's go down here in the speech room. So I'm like, dude, you best not try nothing. But I don't care where I'm at. I done been rough handled quite a few times. I ain't gonna put up with it no more. So we go in there and he goes, read not through you guys' paper in the trash, because y'all don't need to worry about that test. Y'all passed. Y'all didn't miss a single one. I was like, here it comes. He goes, you guys like America? Well, what the hell is we going to say? Hell yeah, we do. It's our country. How would you like to help your country? Well, being kids, we just heard what our uncles and dads and everybody said, and grandpas. Well, hell yeah, it's our duty. Well, I'm glad to hear you say that. Y'all gonna get a chance. Like, watch out, here it comes. He goes, I'll be in touch. So come time for recess, and we go outside, and me and those 2 kids out there by the 3 trees. There was 3 trees that kind of grew. It was really 1 tree, but it split off into like 3 at the base. We're sitting there playing on the rocks and the gravel and under the shade tree and enjoying the breeze. And I said, hey, you know that son of a bitch to give us that test? Yeah. I can't tell you where I know him from, but I know him, and that son of a bitch is shiesty. He's a shyster. Don't trust him. Of course, the girl was more inquisitive than the boy, and she was like, what do you mean? I said, he's no good. Now, I don't know what he does, but Just don't be alone with him. Make sure your brother's with you. Don't go into no rooms with him by yourself. That's all I can say about it, because my dad'll skin me a good one. I'm just telling you, he ain't no good. So a few days passes and go to school one day, and this guy's there. He calls us out into the hallway, and he goes, "You guys are supposed to go out there by the merry-go-round. Wait for me out there. There'll be 2 guys that comes up here. Just wait for them." And then what? I'll just wait for them. They'll tell you what to do. So, we go out there. Out in the middle of the sun, kind of hot. There was a shade tree over there by the lawnmower shed. That's where they kept the school tools at, like shovels and mowers and stuff. We sitting there in the shade tree. Here come these 2 guys, dressed in black suits, white shirt, black hats, black glasses, black shoes. They stopped at the merry-go-round and looked over and seen us 3 sitting over there in the shade, and they come over there and said, "You're supposed to come with us." "Where are we going?" "Just come with us." Okay. They turned around and started to walk off. There was a loud buzz noise and then a pop. Next thing I know, we wasn't at school no more. We was up there at Long Island, wondering how the hell we got there, at this building. What the hell? They said, "You guys are wanting to help out your country? Here's where you'll stay till we say different." So these people in the lab coats come out and got us. That's about all I remember. I figured we'd probably been gone for about a month or so, but when we come back, it was only like we'd been gone a few minutes. We come right back to where the time we left off. There was a difference, though. Those 2 kids, their brains were fried. They were severely mentally scarred, mentally handicapped severely. The girl didn't really do too much talking. The boy, all he kept saying, he would hit his head, bang his head, and he would holler, the clinic, the clinic." Wasn't long and the teacher come, and cause I was asking questions, and it seemed like it more and more upset him. She come and took the daughter and the sister and the brother out, and I don't know where they ever went to. And she took me back at the behind in the classroom. There was a divider back there, and that's where we kept our lunch boxes and coats. She took me back there and told me that if I asked any more questions to talk about, she'd beat my ass. "Do I understand?" I said, "Yeah, I do." I didn't ask no more questions. Anyway, you'll find out more in part 9, so hang with me, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.